Welcome back to my channel once again. As I informed in my early video that I'm going to continue on a migration from one of the sites which is running on MikroTik, and I'm going to move the site from MikroTik to Sophos. So as you can see, this is the brand new firewall, Sophos Firewall. I already made another video on each initial configuration. So if you want to see that video, you may check for that video in my channel. So I think you will get it. So right now, let me explain what is the current network information networks info which is running on MikroTik. So in MikroTik, this is their LAN. Okay, this is their LAN, and LAN is assigned to bridge interface. And under bridge, Ether 1 and Ether 5 both are actually member of the bridge interface. Okay, there are two members, and on both of the member and bridge interface, this network actually assigned. Okay, this network actually assigned. And this is another management network to access the MikroTik through another site. We are not going to configure that in our Sophos firewall. And this is also running on main network, I mean the bridge interface. So I'm going to configure the LAN which is primarily running on that network. So so I can configure additional LAN as an alias if needed. Then on Ether 4, you can see Ether 4, there is an MTN LT. Okay, LT configured on Ether 4, and you can see Ether 3 also configured another LT. Okay, I will have to follow the same, but what I can see only Ether 4. Okay, Ether 4 which is active, and this one is not active at that moment, so we may skip that one. Then there is another loopback interface, 192.168.90 dot something, and I don't need it to carry forward to Sophos firewall. So we will have to focus on the primary LAN and others ISP configuration. Okay. So let's continue. Here I'm going to click on I don't want to register now because I want to register it later. Let's click on continue. I want to maximize the Sophos window. Yeah. So you can see this firewall running on a default config. Okay, default config. And under this firewall, so you can see this port. I'm going to configure LAN on this port, and I will configure WAN on this port, but this one currently active. I'm not going to make any changes. If I make any changes, I will use that access to that firewall. So instead of this, I will configure the LAN on port 3. Okay, for now. I mean WAN on port 3. So this is the brief information on the network, and suppose it's running on some default config. I only config some one additional LAN just to access the firewall. So we will use these 4 ports for this site. Okay, let's configure the LAN. I took some time to do some further analysis on their network, and I noticed this should be using as their primary LAN. So I'm going to configure this one in that interface, um, so you can see what IP and subnet configured on that interface. As you can see, this IP is 192.168, 192.168, 4.254 will be the interface IP, and you can see the CID subject mask. You can leave it same here, and then you can click on OK. Okay, what we actually need to do, we need to configure a bridge, and then we will start configuring LAN. So I'm going to remove the current LAN which I configured. Let's remove this one. Then click on network zone none. Then it will reset the configuration for that interface. And yeah. Okay, let's create a bridge. Add a bridge. And bridge will be bridge now. You can use their same name, main bridge, or I prefer to use LAN bridge. So initially we will choose routing on both, all bridge pair. So here we have to select our interface. At this moment, I will skip this port. So later, what I will do, I will add this one in the bridge port. But right now, I cannot add port 2. So I can skip this one. Then I can add port 4. Okay. Then here you can select zone separately for each of the port. But right now we will keep it same. So we are going to assign the IP. We will assign the IP from, this one. We will assign this one on the bridge port directly. So 192.168.4.254 equals 4.254 and serial at 24. We can leave others as default. We can enable a spanning tree if you want, but I'm not going to apply this for now. Okay, click on bridge. So now you can see under port Ether port 11, uh, there is another network running. Although we are not seeing any users, but we may need to carry forward the same config to avoid any issues in future. If they need to use that, we will have to add that as well. So we are going to add this as an alias. Okay. Okay, let's add this additional network as an alias. I'm not seeing any users, but I'm going to carry forward this. So 192.168.40.100 will be the interface IP, and CAD is +24. Okay, like this. Then I'm going to add this one as an additional alias. If not needed in future, we can simply delete that. That is no difficulty. Okay. Land reach alias 172.160.253. If the subnet of this is /30. Okay. So we have done the LAN configuration. So I'm going to config one more thing, which is WAN config. Okay, I'm going to config the WAN to port 3, but basically we use any fiber or others connectivity on port 2. So that's why my plan is to choose port 3 as an alternative or failover uplink. So we can see what applied on port. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. This is actually 40 actually running on LT. So we can remove 40 first as an alias. I didn't notice that. Sorry. Yeah, 40.100 need to remove that one. So you can simply remove it without any issues. Okay. Just click on alias. It will remove that. So yeah, let's wait. Let me recap here. You can see there are two networks running on in main bridge. So here I configured this one on the bridge, so it will act as a native VLAN for others infrastructure, and I can add this one as an alias only. So this is the IP config for this LTE. So we can configure this LTE here. We can enable click on network zone. Then I'm actually using some uh, naming standard for all of my clients. So I'll P3 and it will be MTN kept LTE. That is how I name each of the interface, because there are lots of advantages you will understand when you do that in productive environment. For example, for any kinds of monitoring and others application, if you want to monitor this firewall or some other firewall, you will receive lots of notification. If you receive notification with the interface called port 1, but then you don't understand from which side it is coming, from which port it is coming. So this will be the best way to identify each interface and its sites if you use a proper naming. Okay. So here I will configure the IP 192.168.40.100. 40.100, you can see 40.100 configured on LT. Okay. Then we will have to use the gateway. So where we can find the gateway in MicroDict, you will find the gateway from, if you go there, click on IP routes, then it will come here. This one will be here. So let's see. Yeah, this is the gateway. This is the gateway. Okay. So let's configure that gateway 192.168.4.1. Okay. Then we can apply this interface. Must because of 40.1. Sorry. 40.1. Click on update, then it will update switch. Then you can see on Ether 3 here. Under Ether 3, another MTN failover is configured, but it is not active at this moment, I think. So we can skip that one for now. So we configured one of the LAN, then we configured one of the LTE as a WAN. Then we just finished some basic configuration, LAN and WAN. Okay. LAN and WAN configured on port 3. So port 3 currently unplugged. Okay. Then we can configure the DHCP for LAN. This is the DHCP. So how you can open that from MicroTik? You can click on IP, then DHCP server, then you will see that. So this is the pool, main pool config. Okay. We don't need to need much more info on that one. We will need that. This one is important. So to configure DHCP, we will in Sophos we will have to go there, network, then DHCP, then click on add, and I'm going to this name language DHCP. I will select the interface, this one, then I will follow the same range. Okay, they didn't use any range, they assign the entire subnet. That means we can use 192.168, maybe 4.4.20. We can start from 4.21. Then we will stop at let's say 4.200. Okay. After that, we will have to click on conflict detection. This is very important. Then we will have to use the DNS, custom DNS here, but we will collect some information, DNS information from on. Okay, I have collected the DNS info. So DNS will be their primary DNS will be 4.1, which is the existing DNS. Then we can use additional DNS as Google, which is quad 8. Okay, so let's take a review. Let's take a review. And we will use domain name as well. Let's try the domain name. So this is their DNS. I'm adding the DNS. So after reviewing all of this, we can click on save. After that, it will save the configuration. Okay, saved. Then we need to make sure we allow the internet from LAN. We should have a rule as well already. These are some default groups which are actually predefined, pre-configured with the Sophos Firewall. You can remove this rule. I personally don't like this. Don't like this. So let's remove this group, predefined group, I'd like to say. So as you can see, I already have one rule which I configured earlier to access internet. So here to configure a rule, okay, let me show you one thing. Let me show you by configuring a rule for you as a test. To configure a rule, you have to click on here, new rule. Then you can type the name. For example, LAN to internet. You can click on accept. You can click the position on top. You have to select the source zone LAN. Then you have to select the destination zone WAN. Then you can click. Okay, I choose source as source zone LAN, destination zone WAN, and I choose source and destination any, and I leave service any. Then I'm going to create a link net. Uh, I mean, for that rule, so that it will allow internet through that link net. Okay, and LAN to internet. Then just click on. When you create link net, you won't be able to modify all additional fields except this one. So you just click on masquerade here. You can save. After that, we are going to assign some access control. For now, I'm not going to assign any restriction, as this site will be Then new, I'm selecting some, necessary security features such as antivirus for zero-day attacks and others to prevent. Here, here we can select an application filter. By default, I'm going to use one of the predefined filters, which is this one, which is this one. I will configure separate security profile for them, but for now I'm using some default profile for demonstration purpose, and then I'm going to have a look one more time. Later, I will just click on save. Okay, when I click on save, it will save everything. Okay, so that's it for this part. I will come up with another part with the other configurations such as port forwarding configuration, some security profiles, and some others config, other system and others config with the next video. So until now, please. So until then, keep on learning and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.